Every time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up. So all of these factors, wait, hold up, Ben. All of these factors come together to create this pattern that we see of young men in my age range committing these shootings. And if you want to sit here and go back and forth, tit for tat, I can say Dylan Roof, Robert Bowers, John Earnest, none of these were black people, none of these were trans people, none of these were even Democrats. These were neo-Nazis who had things carved into their guns. You can sit here and muddy the waters, but you are just lying.
In today's video, Adam Mockler absolutely destroys Ben Ferguson in a heated debate on NewsNight with Abby Phillip, while MAGA voices like Ben Ferguson try to spin this as just media bias or overblown narratives. The numbers don't lie. The pandemic, toxic algorithms, and constant political gaslighting created a perfect storm for young men to get radicalized, and pretending it's not happening only makes it worse. So let's dive in and watch how Adam Mockler shuts down Ben Ferguson on NewsNight with Abby Phillip.
Justice may not be blind after all, especially when the president's enemies are in the line of sight. The feds are said to be nearing a decision on charges against James Comey, accusing him of lying to Congress on the handling of the Russia investigation. The former FBI director has long said that he testified truthfully. The testimony happened back in 2020, and since the law requires any charge within 5 years, the DOJ now only has literally a few days before that deadline expires. But here's the important fine print in all of this. This is coming after Donald Trump publicly demanded that his attorney general charge Comey and other political rivals. Now, it's important to note, this is the same district in which Trump said that he fired a prosecutor for failing to find enough evidence against Letitia James, the attorney general in New York. Now, it's being run by one of Trump's former lawyers who has never prosecuted a case.
Donald Trump literally has had a mugshot because of the witch hunt against him.
But again, don't respond to my point.
I am. Yeah. James Comey, and one of the things I think people very clearly, if you watch him in his own words, he's very proud of the politicalization of what he did to attack Donald Trump. A great example was him grandstanding when he was sitting there on a forum talking about, yeah, I sent a couple FBI agents into the White House because I could, and the Trump administration didn't know what protocol was, so I took advantage of their ignorance or trust to go after General Flynn, to try to go after Donald Trump and get something on Donald Trump.
I like how Ben tried to invoke Trump's mugshot as some sort of proof or some sort of way to handwave this, which you're conceding in that they are politicizing the government. You're not even denying, neither the conservatives on this panel are denying that Trump is politicizing the government. You just invoke Trump's mugshot.
No, I didn't. I said that.
Is there a single,
can
you show me a tweet from Biden asking his DOJ or asking his attorney general? So there's no tweet from Biden asking his attorney general to
Joe
directly
Biden
go after
didn't tweet much. He also didn't president.
Is there any line from President Biden saying go after these three people? If you can't point that to me, then you invoking Trump's mugshot is trying to both sides this when this is a clear weaponization of the DOJ.
What Biden did, he wrote a letter going after parents in Virginia and putting them on an FBI watch list. He went after Catholics.
You can't point me to a single example of Biden
or the IRS when they went after people.
Let's just back up a second. This is the first time we've heard this. Let me finish what I'm saying. So Trump ran an entire campaign talking about this. Americans voted for this. So Americans were sick and tired of
a radical FBI that went after.
Let me ask you a question.
100%. So this is not a surprise that we're sitting here.
Hunter Biden was being investigated during Biden's term. Do you think Don Jr. would ever be investigated by Pam Bondi?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Wait, hold on. If he did a crime, I think, yeah.
No, he would not.
By the way,
Donald Trump Jr.
The Biden crime family.
You know that's not true.
Wait, let's be clear. Let's be clear about Hunter Biden and what Hunter Biden did. If Don Jr. was sitting on the board of Burisma right now and was taking massive amounts of money, I have no doubt. Again, I actually think that lost
One second. Hold on one second. It's just too many people talking at one time.
Watching Adam Mockler go up against Ben Ferguson and Kristen Davison really highlights just how far the goalposts keep getting moved when it comes to weaponizing of government. The facts on the ground are clear. Under Trump, there was documented evidence of him publicly pressuring his attorneys general, Sessions, Barr, and later acting AGs to investigate political rivals. Trump even tweeted in all caps about "lock her up" regarding Hillary Clinton and publicly demanded prosecutions of Comey, Clinton, and others. That's not speculation, that's in his own words, archived on his old Twitter feed and reported by multiple outlets. And the idea that this is some both sides problem falls apart when you look at the record. Biden has never tweeted or gone on TV demanding that his DOJ go after specific political rivals. Meanwhile, Trump bragged about firing U.S. attorneys for not finding evidence against Letitia James. That's not normal behavior in a democracy. That's banana republic stuff. Even the Hunter Biden example doesn't hold up as a counterpoint. Hunter has been investigated, charged, and dragged through the media for years during his father's presidency. That simply wouldn't happen under Trump if Don Jr. were in the same position. It's not about defending Hunter Biden, it's about pointing out the reality that under Biden, the DOJ is still functioning independently enough to go after his own son, something Trump would never have tolerated for his family.
Now, before we discuss, it's worth noting that Kimmel's return scored 3 times his average viewership on TV and 15 million views on YouTube. That's a lot of people, perhaps some Sinclair and Nexstar subscribers, but I can't imagine that the vice president is not aware of what actually happened here.
This is the delusion of this conversation. He literally said that he was killed by somebody that was in MAGA. That was a lie. We knew that wasn't true. And he refused to apologize.
Let me ask you
real men with integrity walk out there and say,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So has Don Jr. and Elon Musk and Senator Mike Lee apologized for saying that the Minnesota shooter was on the left?
I don't know if they have or not.
Okay, they haven't.
They have
okay.
not.
So my point is, it's the exact same thing.
I'm okay with that. But Jimmy Kimmel, I think you can agree, this was a bigger issue at the moment.
That's it got more attention.
A lot more. He was crying on set.
But this was also a political...
He's crying on set.
Minnesota's
not
relevant.
crying for Charlie Kirk
but not
or
only
his
Minnesota,
wife.
but not
crying
only,
because
but not
woe
only,
is me in my career.
This is why this somewhat falls on deaf ears, because this is why those individuals who are not Democrats or Republicans find all of us to be full of it. Because the simple fact is Don Jr. had a picture of a hammer in underwear after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in his home, right? And so when you have individuals who do that, and then you say you have all these other talking points about people chanting and celebrating Charlie Kirk's death on the left, and you don't really give a complete look at the voices who are saying that we condemn that. But let me just say,
lie about it, though.
But if you want to talk about the lie, I mean, look at everybody on Fox News who lied about 2016. I mean, is that the barometer?
Let me give Adam a second.
I agree with Bakari. We should look at the full picture. If you want to talk about Erica Kirk, she said she doesn't hate the other side. Then Donald Trump came on stage right after and said, "I do hate my opponents." This is the president of the United States, not some comedian. And by the way, it is so incredibly clear that Trump is pulling every lever possible to make sure that everybody consolidates around him ideologically, whether it's with Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air, whether it's with Comey. I mean, I did the research. Donald Trump's priorities are so off that he has mentioned Comey on his Truth Social 2,042 times.
Yeah,
how many times do you think he's mentioned?
How
many times has he mentioned inflation? How many times has he mentioned inflation?
This exchange between Adam Mockler and Ben Ferguson is such a perfect snapshot of the double standard in today's political culture. Ben Ferguson is hammering Jimmy Kimmel over one moment without acknowledging the mountain of similar and often worse behavior from Trump's orbit. Here's the reality. Don Jr. never apologized for mocking the violent attack on Paul Pelosi. Elon Musk amplified a completely false conspiracy about that same attack on his 100 million followers. Senator Mike Lee shared unverified claims about the Minnesota shooter being on the left. Zero apologies. And if we're talking about lies with real impact, Fox News literally paid $787 million to Dominion for knowingly pushing false election claims. That's not some comedian, that's one of the largest media outlets in the country feeding disinformation to millions of people. Meanwhile, Trump himself has posted about James Comey on Truth Social 240 plus times, but hardly mentions inflation. Think about that. The president is more obsessed with relitigating personal vendettas than talking about the cost of living for everyday Americans. When you look at the full picture, Adam Mockler's point stands. This isn't about one comedian or one moment. It's about an entire political movement normalizing conspiracy theories, refusing to own up to lies, and weaponizing outrage selectively. If you want accountability, it has to cut both ways. Right now, it clearly doesn't.
But when you fix inflation, you don't have to mention
He
it.
did not fix it, and he's mentioned it. He's mentioned it half as many
Look at Wall
times as
Street.
Comey.
You're just wrong.
He's mentioned inflation half as many times as Comey on his Truth
Because
Social.
he actually
because
works
his
on it.
priorities
But
lie
again, I
in
go back-
petty vengeances. Ben, let me finish.
Go back-
his
can we go back
priorities
to
lie.
Ben,
We're talking about inflation right now,
priorities
not
lie in
about Jimmy
petty
Kimmel.
I'm just letting him
vengeances.
finish his point, then we got to
I'm just trying to say Donald Trump's priorities lie in petty vengeances, going after
Just fixes
Comey,
stuff.
going after Kimmel, and he's not
the economy
fixing this
good or
tariff
bad?
media. Right now, unemployment is up.
Is
right
the
now,
economy good or bad right now?
We're going to leave it there.
Tariffs are making it worse.
All right,
Okay.
next for us,
Good
the
talking.
president introduces a new renovation at the White House, and this one trolls his predecessor. Tonight, the People's House now has a trolling hall. The White House revealed a new presidential walk of fame with photos of presidents in order, but if you look closely, there is one particular president missing, or rather represented by something other than his face. Instead of a photo of President Biden, there is a photo of an autopen. Hilarious, I suppose. I mean, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the autopen responding to this, by the way.
Feels very beneath the office, but I guess go for it.
True or false, the autopen signed more things under Joe Biden's last year in office than Joe Biden signed.
I mean,
Is it really trolling if it's true?
Doesn't Trump use the auto pen as well?
I promise you, when it
Didn't
comes
he
to
use it?
pardons and clemencies, it's going to be his own signature. Like, he actually shows up for work and doesn't take naps in the middle of the day. He had a 4-hour work day.
Let me just tell you,
his own team said it.
I will only vote for the Democratic candidate in 2028 that
I believe
removes
you.
Trump's presidential portraits and replaces them with photos of him and Epstein. So many photos of him and Epstein. More photos than me and my own grandparents, I feel like. It's just Trump
I'm
and
still
Epstein
looking forward to the
over and over.
autopen responding to the outrage over the autopen. I'm
I think
excited
everyone has
about
to
it.
listen to Kimmel and just like take the joke. I mean, it's funny. We got to laugh. And frankly, there have been Democrat presidents that have had way more offensive things
Like
that
what?
are beneath the office.
Like what?
Name one.
Monica?
I mean,
But he just
The blue
mentioned,
dress?
he just
Go on.
mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. So look, my only point is that this is beneath the office. And I just remember back in something that I actually can remember when Republicans on Fox News and everywhere else were completely outraged about Barack Obama wearing a tan suit or having a selfie stick. This is how far we've fallen. Now we have somebody who actually has decorated the halls of the White House, making a joke. I mean, I just find...
Hold on. Did they or did they not put Hunter Biden art in the White House? They did.
Wasn't there a
And it
TikTok
made the money, the
influencer
value of the art
running
go
around
up. So
doing
let's, and then they
sorry,
sold
but
said art. So
if
let's
Biden-
dial that back a little
If
bit.
Biden would have hung up Trump's mugshot as a joke, you would be like curled up in a ball crying, saying nothing like this has ever happened.
I would have
in the
said I
history
would
of life.
expect that.
No, you would not be okay with that. You would say this is beneath the presidency. But the broader point is, why is Donald Trump still going after these petty grievances and all of these
It's not a
insane
grievance.
things?
I think they're
It's
just
just
when
having
the economy
fun.
is
I think they're just having fun.
Yeah.
We got bigger problems. Why are we so upset about it?
I mean, I think maybe that's the point. We have bigger problems.
And the fact is, you're all,
we have
you're all
a lot
taking
of
the
bigger
bait. Who
problems
wants
in
you to
this
be talking
country.
about this?
It is. You have to
taking
admit.
this-
You have to admit. If you're just walking through and you saw that,
It-
it's a little
Look,
funny.
it's both things. It's both kind of hilarious and kind of appalling, right? I mean, like at the same time, like it is funny. As I
laugh.
watched it happen, I'm like, that's
He
actually.
can, I will
that's
say this, he
actually
can
kind of
fix
funny.
it. If Trump buys a Hunter Biden picture and puts it in between, then it'll be bipartisan.
I'm just so sick of everything being a joke, whether it's Trump like tweeting directly at Pam Bondi saying something, or whether it's Trump
I
saying
assure
he
you
wants
right now we
ABC.
need more jokes than
All
ever,
of this
my
is a
friend.
joke.
Well, that's why
No, but
that's why Jimmy Kimmel's
The
back.
president's words mean nothing right now. The president's words mean nothing. This is a man who sets deadlines, blows through those deadlines. This is a man who makes.
You're reaching way too far, bro. It's
I'm not
an
reaching
open
it far
picture.
at all.
It's pretty funny.
The president's words mean nothing, and we sit here and laugh as he, yeah.
What struck me most in this exchange is how Ben Ferguson keeps trying to pivot the conversation into sideshows, autopens, Hunter Biden's art, late night jokes, while completely ignoring the real story. Trump's obsession with petty vendettas, just look at the numbers. On Truth Social, Trump has ranted about James Comey over 240 times, but mentioned inflation, a top concern for everyday Americans. barely half as often. That tells you everything about his priorities. And let's not pretend his economic record was some golden era. Tariffs that he bragged about ended up functioning as a massive hidden tax on American consumers. The Peterson Institute found Trump's tariffs cost US households an average of $1,200 a year. That's not America first, that's Americans footing the bill while Trump played tough guy on trade. Meanwhile, under Biden, unemployment hit a 50-year low. Inflation, while still high globally, has cooled significantly compared to its peak during the pandemic recovery. These are real policy outcomes, not culture war distractions. And the idea that mocking Biden's autopen is some grand political point? Come on, Trump himself used an autopen during his presidency. It's standard practice. At the end of the day, the MAGA playbook is clear. Change the subject, throw out a conspiracy, and hope people don't notice that Trump's entire agenda is just score settling. But when you measure by actual priorities, what he posts, what he talks about, what he obsesses over, it's not inflation, not jobs, not the economy, it's revenge. And that's beneath the presidency. Pause. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, left, right, and center are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights into media bias and political trends. Stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.